Hey guys, this is Mr. SLIN. I've been doing demo reviews on my stream late at night, twitch.tv/SLIN, and I decided it'd be good if I did one for the YouTube channel as well. If you go to my Twitch channel and type !submit, that is how you can submit demos to me for review. I definitely cannot get to everybody. I'm gonna try my best, but yeah, we'll just do one demo here. This is coming from Derpy, who plays in Asia Fortress Division 2, who's playing medic and says, I want help with my positioning and heal rotation because I normally play Div 2 Scout and I recently started playing medic for my team. Thanks for reviewing. No problem, Derpy. We're gonna hop right in here and check out your game. This is on Badlands, which is a map everybody knows, so this should be good. Now, Div 2 Asia Fortress, I didn't know this, but he's saying that it translates to about an ESEA open level, and I can already see that your scout is rotating through the upper top right doorway, which is something you don't want to happen. It's slower. You need to go through the lower main. I'm just going to give some critiques, and then some smaller critiques at first, and then at the end of the video, I will talk about some larger big picture stuff that you can work on next time you hop into a game. And already I'm noticing that you had 5 of your own players stacked on your train, and 2 of your soldiers were right next to you. So your soldiers weren't jumping and creating space. So that's definitely a problem. You guys are going to be down a player holding this second point right now, and I can see that you're backing up to the gray bridge, but you should really be rotating over to the side spire because oh no, yeah, you're going to get forced here by the demo man who jumps in. The demo should die right here with this Uber, but he ends up staying alive, so you guys are in a really bad spot right now, and I believe their medic... I can't tell if their medic stay alive or not through this POV demo. Yeah, it looks like their medic did stay alive, so he's pushing you with his Uber maybe. Or, yep, they're going to pop right through, and you did a great job rotating, backing away from the Uber, and getting some good crossbows to keep your teammates alive. So I really like what you did there. But yeah, something that you'll see that happens at a lower level of TF2 is that a lot of teams will try and defend second point from the gray bridge, and you do not want to be doing that if you have any intention of like slowing the team down or just like not getting out quickly as possible. So if you want to get out as quickly as possible, go gray bridge. If you want to delay the spire, go side spire. That's what you should have done. Go to the left side of the spire. It lets you shoot up at Pride Rock. It's just a much better defensive position for you than gray bridge, where you can get flanked from like diag, aka forward spawn. You can get flanked from just like left and right and center. So yeah, you do not want to be staying on gray bridge most of the time unless you're trying to push up to choke. So now you're holding last point, and you have a decent Uber advantage. You know that their medic used, but it looks like you're going to be chilling back on last. I like your medic Uber masking bind. A good medic masks their Uber. I am not a good medic Uber masked. I like that. Looks like you guys get a pick. So you have Uber advantage and a pick. So you should be pushing out. Your team recognizes that. And I did see your scout like walk by you earlier on. You should have been giving out those crit heals to those scouts when you can. Prioritize your scouts whenever possible because they're the ones making space. Unfortunately, your scout goes down, and this is one of the most difficult last pushes to get out of if you're not going quickly. It looks like you guys are taking your sweet time, and this is going to make... Oh, goodness gracious. This is really bad for you guys now. He does trade 1-for-1 there, but you're out alone on an island. Oh, no. This is falling apart for you guys, and you're in a lot of trouble there. Your teammate might be able to rescue you if you back off. Yes, you make it out barely. Oh, but you guys are still in a lot of trouble. And really the only thing that I could say about that play is when you're pushing out of last point, you got to move very, very quickly because this is just one of the most difficult last pushes to get out of, and their respawners will get to choke quickly and start contesting spire. So if you don't get that cap down, as soon as you lost a player when you were in upper lobby, you should have known that you had no chance of getting the spire. You should have backed off of that. The other thing I would say too is whenever you have Uber advantage, you want to take multiple players in on the Uber. You only want to solo Uber when it's even Ubers because both teams have an Uber. You want your Uber to last as long as possible. When you have advantage, you want to get as many Ubered players into the fight as possible. And unfortunately, in that Uber fight, you only Ubered your demo man. And you saw that your soldier jumped in, but he died. And your scout also tried to get in there as well, but he died to a trap on the main. So, you know, you had opportunities to get teammates with you on that Uber. You just didn't connect with them. So that needs to be something that your team works on. It's not all your fault there because, you know, it's partially your team too. It's a team game. Everyone needs to play together on those Ubers. And looks like, oh, there's a spy and an Uber coming in on you, and 97% you just barely died. One thing that I will say is that you knew they had Uber advantage because you had been healing that well, because they just had the better end of that exchange out in yard. So you should have been looking through that upper window and see their combo coming in top right, and then drop down to the ground and get that extra 3%. Yes, you have to drop down to the ground. The ground is not a very advantageous position, but you were just moments away from getting that Uber. If you would have just dropped down, it would have given you enough time. It would have bought you enough time to get that Uber, and maybe hold on to that last point there. So getting into the next round, both of your soldiers again playing on your train. This is not what you want to be doing here. You see how you're stuck in a corner. You're just not able to break out of your own choke, and it's just putting you guys in a very tough position. What you want your roaming soldier to do is jump the top right train and put pressure on the enemy team. He doesn't necessarily have to die, but he needs to create space. He needs to get some pressure off of your train so your teammates can push up and get some point presence. That's a really unfortunate death there. Nothing. I mean, not too much you could have done, but I mean, if you had better awareness, you would have picked up on that. But you know, I'm not gonna fault you for that death. But yeah, going back to that mid fight. You know, if your roaming soldier's having difficulty jumping the top right side of middle and creating space, he can also create space by going underneath the point. And a lot of teams are doing the valley rollout nowadays, and you can slow down their ascent. You can stop them from climbing up onto their train if the roaming soldier can get in underneath and stall them underneath there by shooting some rockets at the slope. So those are two ways that you can relieve pressure off of your train. And the other thing too is that you just want your team to be spread out. When you're all stacked together like that, you're going to take splash damage from rockets, take splash damage from stickies, and you need to spread out as much as you possibly can given the amount of area that you have to work with. So good job here on your last point defense. That these picks are going to help you maybe get an Uber force out here in yard. You're looking for their combo, and looks like there's a soldier bottom left that you need to deal with. I think you should be dropping down here and healing your scouts. Yep, you're doing that. Good. And you also saw their combo playing out towards the choke, so you can push up side spire here. See how your demo man is forcing you to go to Gray Bridge, and see how he can get flanked from the right side forward spawn. So your entire team needs to play together, needs to play on the left side of spire. And by having one scout go side spire and one demo man go Gray Bridge, it forces your team to split up. And you think that splitting up would be good, but only to a certain extent. Again, you want to stay together and play as a team, but you also want to spread out within that area. And it's a fine line between spreading out too much and balling up too much. But the advantage of balling up together is that you're able to focus fire, you're able to protect each other, and you know, it's a very defensively but also offensively strong position to be in. But at the same time that you're balling up, you just want to be as spread out as possible within that ball. And you know, don't spread out between like so much there that you can't help each other. And it's really difficult to win team fights if you're going to be that far spread apart. There's a whole spire in between you guys. It just makes life difficult there. Okay, so we're heading into the third middle, and you guys are 0 for 2 right now. And I want to see you guys win a round, hopefully, if we get to that in this demo. Okay, so you're going for that valley rollout once again, and you guys are jumping up and creating a little more space, buffing both of your scouts. Ooh, I noticed that you're prioritizing your soldier on team fights, or on mid fights. Sorry, you need to prioritize your scouts because you're rolling out with your soldiers all the way to middle. They're gonna have 300 when you get there. So really, the people who have been starving for heals the most are the scouts and the demo man. So you should prioritize scouts and demo man when you get to middle, because your soldiers have been getting heals the entire time. But it looks like you guys win this middle. You're first out of 3. Good job, guys, here. And I think their medic got out alive. I wasn't paying super close attention. And unfortunately, I cannot hit tab in this POV demo, but I'm going to assume that their medic stayed alive here. So you're going to rebuff your teammates and maybe go for a force play, or maybe go for a solo Uber even exchange. Remember we were talking earlier, when you have advantage, you want to take multiple players in. When the Ubers are even, you only want to take one person in. Looks like IGN's going to go for that one-man sacrifice play that we talked about. And now all eyes are on the choke point, because that is the biggest threat. You do not want them to come through the choke. If they're going to go to push in the middle, you want them to come through the house, because that is the easiest area to spam. It's the slowest area to get in the middle. Great job catching your scout there, and you guys end up with a pick, which is really solid. Again, prioritize your scouts when you're healing. I noticed you're looking at your soldiers, looking at your demo man. Those people will stay next to you the entire time. Scouts need to run away from you. Scouts need to create space. Scouts need to roam free. They need to use their speed to their advantage and run away from the combo. Demo men, on the other hand, for example, these demo men are very slow, and they do not have very many movement options. So they're going to stay next to your medic and get those heals all the time. So put heals into your scouts. Let them run away from you. And that way you can then you can have your demo men later on. You can always heal your demo men later on. Decent flashes here, but you guys are giving up a lot of position, and you have a scout behind them. So you know that you want to get aggressive because you have a scout in behind. So everyone should have been helping that scout out When your scout is in there, you guys should not be backing up so much because you know they're going to turn around and try and kill the scout. So when they turn around to kill the scout, that's the perfect opportunity for you to push from the front and kill them. And you guys are coming back in here now. I like the aggression. You have an opportunity to get in here and make space. Good job crit healing your demo man. Give him that 260 next time, though. Yeah, he needs 260. Perfect. Okay, you never want to be the furthest player forward, but you did have a player behind you, so I did not understand that you had that. Okay, so okay, this is good. If you have a player behind you, that's fine for you to play forward because you need some buffer in between you and the player behind you. Fortunately, eating some of these rollers here, you're going to be fine. If you were able to avoid those rollers, you'd be able to push into second point a lot faster. So, you know, that's one of the things you can do as a medic is just avoid that spam, and that'll allow you to continue moving faster. Because if you take the spam, you have to walk back up and get the health pack, and it just slows you down your push. You want to make your push as fast as possible. You need to keep pushing here. There's no resistance out in yard. You need to keep pushing, keep going. And that scout in forward spawn is just a distraction. He actually can't do anything from forward spawn. He stays alive, sure, but he actually is not a threat. He can't capture Spire. He can't do anything to you. So the fact that your demo man roamed over there to try and kill that scout is just a waste of your time. That scout in forward spawn is trying to stall you and prevent you from quickly pushing into last point. So just ignore him next time and get into last point before they have a time to set up a heavy or a sentry gun or even a sniper. But you guys are able to move into last point and get this capture down. Good job winning a round. So you got 1 round on the board here. Let's see if you can get 2 with about 19 minutes left in this scrim. I'm not going to go over the whole 19 minutes, I don't think. I just want to watch enough of this demo to get an idea of how you play the game. So, and then maybe I'll give you some recommendations later on. Already I'm seeing that you have pretty good game sense. Like you guys are doing a good job of keeping track of their Ubers and making good play calls. I'm not sure if it's you who's the one doing it or maybe one of your teammates is the one who's calling for your team. But you know, overall your team is making the right decisions. So that's good. And you guys just went 2 players down, so you're backing out. Yeah, you guys have a very good understanding of the basics of the game. I would say fundamentally what would get you guys to the next level is your team fighting ability. And this will make you, you know, this will elevate your skill from Div 2 to Div 1. If you can improve your team fighting and winning these small advantages, that will get you the win. I mean, I can already see you executing on large advantages. For example, that last round that you won, when you have large Uber advantage, you push into last and you clearly win the round. You close it out cleanly. That's really, really good. But you need to also be able to win these smaller advantages here as well. So for example, this 1-man advantage that you have, how is this going to end up? How are you guys going to win this exact fight? And see how it's not very clean. You know, you guys are losing players. You had a 6-on-5 at one point in time, and then it almost went 6-on-4. So I feel like you guys had a very clear opportunity to win this, and you guys are actually going to lose this. So that's the difference between a really, really good team and a really bad team. Well, not a really bad team, but just like an okay team. You know, the difference between a Div 1 team and a Div 2 team is your ability to cleanly close out defensive advantages as well here. And when that scout got on the last point and you easily got that kill, you should have been able to close out that 6-on-5 even Uber fight. It should have been an easy win for a better team. But that's just something you guys need to work on. What I recommend you do is next time, remember that it's even Ubers. And when it's even Ubers, you only want to Uber 1 person. So again, on Uber advantage, when you have a better Uber than them, take multiple people into the fight. When you have even Ubers, with like you saw in that last point hold, you want to only Uber 1 person ideally. And you only need 1 person on the last point to block it. You don't need 3 people on the last point to block it. These mid fights are just not going that well for you guys. And again, I attribute that to your inability to properly fight these team fights at this level. You guys are doing okay, but you could be doing better. I mean, I think you have the mechanical skill to be able to compete with these guys. You have like the aiming ability, you have the, you know, the raw talent to be able to beat them, but you guys are not working together to focus fire as a team. And the easiest way to focus fire as a team is to change your attitude and change your prioritization in team fights, okay? At the lowest levels of TF2, people prioritize medics, they prioritize demo men, and sure, that is the basics of the game. If you can kill the medic, that's a big pick for you. If you kill the demo man, another big pick for you. But at the higher levels of the game, like I said, if you go up 6-on-5, you should be able to clean up the whole entire team fight. So you should worry less about getting individual kills like a medic or a demo man. You know, those kinds of kills matter less overall than actual individual, like keeping your teammates alive and playing together as a team. As you saw, your team lost your medic on that mid fight and you still won middle. That just proves that medic kills are not good enough to secure the middle. And focus less on individual kills and focus more on playing together as a team and focus firing the closest threat. So rather than overextending and trying to kill something in the back lines like a demo man or a medic who's hiding behind teammates, go for the closest target. And if everybody's doing that, if all 5 of your damage classes are focusing the closest thing to you, you guys will kill that guy very, very quickly. So let's say it's a scout or even a soldier right next to your team. Everyone focus fires that guy down. He'll die immediately, and then you'll get that one-man advantage that you need to close out that mid-fight. And it also helps protect you. If everyone is, generally protecting you and fighting the closest threat to you, then you will have an easier time staying alive as well. But again, there's a very fine line between balling up together and focus firing and then bunching up too much and getting hit with splash damage on multiple targets. So you gotta stay together but also spread out. That's one of the hardest things to figure out in TF2. You guys are learning that, and really nice back cap play here by you guys. Solid. 3-2. Okay, I'm gonna watch one more round and I'm gonna close out this demo review. I've already given a lot of basic advice here, and for anyone who's watching these demos, you need to remember that what I'm saying sounds very obvious, but in practice, it's actually very difficult to keep track of all of these things, Like, everyone knows if I have Uber and you do not have Uber, I should easily be able to win the fight. But it's all about making the proper decision, keeping track of everything. And, oh, really nice focus fire here in Valley. See how your teammates just focused the closest threat to you, kept you alive, backed off, played the heals. Really nicely done, and a really nice surf by you to stay alive. But yeah, like, everything that I'm saying makes sense on paper. When you're in a vacuum, when you have time to think things out and you have all the information presented to you, it's very easy to make good decisions. It's very difficult to make good decisions and when you're like in the middle of the game trying to keep track of all these things. So the more of these things that you can keep track in your mind, the better off you'll be. And right there, unfortunately, you backed off too far off of middle. So you should have been keeping track of the number advantages, and when your team just got a 3K on middle, you should have been able to come back in earlier, but you backed off too far by yourself. And I understand you backing off because you were kind of worried that there might be a threat nearby you, but you backed off way too far by yourself. And I think you guys could have been closer to middle to start this push into 4th point earlier. And it sounds like an unnecessary criticism, right? It sounds like, why would I critique your backing off when you guys won middle, you're clearly getting control of 4th point. But that's, again, the difference between a Div 1 team and a Div 2 team. A Div 1 team recognizes these patterns earlier and moves quicker. So you guys know the basics of the game. You just need to recognize these patterns earlier and just move faster. And if you move faster, it'll catch teams off guard. It'll prevent them from setting up their defenses. See, if you guys moved into last quicker, they wouldn't have this pyro setup. But the fact that you guys took so long to get in there allows that pyro to get time to get buffed up to hold that top right side and set up that defense. Okay, so I'm going to give you a couple pieces of advice, 3 pieces of advice that I think you should work on for the next time that you are scrimmaging with your team. Number 1, play together. You want to play together as much as possible and be in a position to assist each other, but without stacking on top of each other and taking splash damage and getting easily zoned out by a single player. Like, if everyone stacks on the same exact spot, it's really easy for one person or even 2 people to deny your entire team. But if you spread out, now there's multiple threats, there's multiple ways to get in, so it just makes life difficult. But you want to find the sweet spot between staying too close together and staying too far apart. Secondly, work on your distancing. I noticed that when you're playing medic, you tend to be too close to the target that you're healing. Put a little bit more distance between the person that you're healing and you. If you stand too close to the person you're healing, again, you're going to take splash damage. And I noticed you taking a little bit of unnecessary damage that you didn't need to take, especially on those mid fights. So, heal the person you need to heal, but also put as much distance as possible. Again, it's the same idea as point number 1. Be close together, but be as far apart as possible within that area. And the third thing you can work on is your speed. You've already noticed that you have the basics of the game down. You're a Div 2 team. You have an understanding of the game. You just need to move quicker. Pick up on those patterns, move quickly, and start your pushes quicker. I noticed, like, you guys are buffing up and just taking your time saying, okay, like let's take a breather and before we make our next move. And that's fine. But like push your limits. Try and push with, not a full buff. Try and push with lower health and just see what happens. Now, obviously, if you do too many if you move too quickly, you're going to make too many mistakes and it'll cause you to mess up a lot of pushes. But if you try and move faster, just try and move a little bit quicker, that'll actually win you guys more of your team fights and win you more rounds because you're catching teams off guard, again, not allowing them to set up and not allowing them to establish their defense. Okay, guys, I hope you learned something from this demo. Again, if you want to submit a demo for me to review, shoot it to mrslinstream@gmail.com or type !submit in my stream chat, and that'll give you the instructions. Just provide me with your username, your skill level, as in what league you're playing in and what division you're playing in, and then also what class you're playing. I don't really care which class you're playing. I'll review any class. Just send it to me and I'll be more than happy to help. But again, I just can't get to all the demos, so I kind of pick and choose, and it's usually based on whoever sends me the demo the earliest. So I'll be reviewing those on my stream, and then every once in a while I'll put some on my YouTube channel for you guys to look at. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys next time.